Hello everyone and welcome to R Code in 101 Part 2. In this part we will learn how to create and manipulate vectors in R. The real power of R lies in its ability to work with lists of numbers, called vectors. If A and B are integers, the command a2.b creates a vector of integers from A to B. Let's say I want to create a vector with integers from 1 to 10. This is what I write down. It has given me the numbers that are integers from 1 to 10. Minus 3 to 20. It did the same thing. It gave me the integers between minus 3 and 20. Now, if I want a little bit more of control in how these sequences are given, I will use the command sequence. Remember last time we talked about seek and help from R? All you have to do is a question mark and then the name of the command. And it will give you in the window at the right of the screen with the details of this function. So the function sequence takes 3 arguments. If I write down the first argument 1 and then the second argument 10, it will give us the same results that we had when we used 1 to 0.10. Now if I add the number 2 here, what does that mean? That means that it will give me 1, 3, 5. It means that it will jump by 2 numbers. If I give, for instance, if I increase the jump in step, it's 1, 5, and 9. So I think it's clear what it does. Let's try to go backwards here. Let's start from 10 and let's go to 1 and let's jump 2 numbers. So here the step will be a negative number. So it will start from 20, 18, 16 until it stops when it reaches the number 2. So now let's suppose that you want to create a vector that is not as simple as these as the ones that we have created. Here you can use the letter C, which stands for concatenate. So C here, and then I use the parentheses. I use RStudio because it's much simpler to manipulate. So here I have the right to write the vector, the elements of the vector. Let's say that my vector contains these numbers. So see, it's very easy to create a vector with specific numbers that we can choose and type. Let's say that I have created a vector and I want to assign it to a variable. For instance, if I want to create the numbers, a vector that contains the first 5 prime numbers, so here's the assignment operator. It's a very simple symbol that is composed by smaller than, and then there is that 6 hyphen. So the vector is the first prime numbers of it's 2, 3, 5, and 7. And we have one more to go, 11. So now if I write down primes, it will give me the vector that I have written above. Let's say I want to add more numbers to my prime vector, so all I have to do is to write primes, the assignment symbol, and then I write concatenate primes, which is the vector that contains the first 5 primes, and then I add some more primes, such as 13, 17, and 19. Now the variable primes has changed. It contains now the original primes as well as the ones we have added. The elements of vectors are indexed with brackets. For instance, let's try to get the 4th element of primes. All I have to do is write primes, and then I open the brackets and write down the number 4, and it will give me 7, which is the 4th prime number in our vector. And if I want to get a series of numbers from my vector by their index, all I have to do is write down primes, open the brackets, and then Let's say that I want to get the first 5 elements, so I write 1, 2.5. This is a very handy way of getting elements from your vector by their index. If I want to get separated elements, all I have to do is primes, open brackets, and then let's say I want to get the first element, the fourth element, and then the sixth element. So it's 2, 7, and 13. If I give it here an index that exceeds the length of the vector, such as 10, it will give me missing. NA means missing. If I want to select elements from my vector based on a condition, for instance, let's say that I want to get the prime numbers that are inferior to 10 or smaller to 10, I use the function which primes smaller than 10. So this will give, this is like a function that chooses and selects elements based on a condition. So here we got the elements that are smaller than 10, but why is it giving me a 4 here? Oh, apologies. These are the indexes of the elements primes. Okay, the first 4 elements, 2, 3, 5, and 7, they have the indexes 1, 2, because 2 is the first element, 3 is the second, 5 is the third, 7 is the fourth, and then 11, it does not verify our condition, therefore it is not selected. So which gives us the indexes of the elements and not the elements themselves. Vectors can also consist of characters, even strings of characters. Let's say I want to create the vector names. The assignment operator, and I write down James. Samir. Lila. Let's create another vector. Let's name it vec. C. I will subscribe. This is me, playing a little mojo here on you guys to subscribe. Of course, if you like the content, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So I think this is going to be it for this second part. I'm trying to make them very, very concise and small. I don't want to bore anybody, and I want each video to contain a little bit of information for you guys. So see you next time.